Evening, freaks. I'm here to give Leo an eclipse season predictions read straight from the hip with lots of lip. And we are looking at what's coming towards you, Leo, this eclipse season. This eclipse season got kicked off with a double new moon in Aries on 420. It got amplified by the recent full moon penumbral lunar eclipse that occurred in Scorpio on the 5th of this month, and we will not see this energy fully come to its fruition until October 14th of this present year of 2023. So there's a lot of dynamic energies in play. Some will be shadows, some will be light. There will be some karma to balance out, especially with the nodes of destiny coming into play in Leo season, all right, when we have the changing of the guards and Aries takes over the North Node, and Libra, that is going to balance those scales of karma, comes to take over that South Node position from Scorpio. So I did get some initial downloads with you. I'm going to be working with two decks as I do your read today. Okay, I'm working with the Angel Tarot, and I'm working with the Occult Tarot is what got called in. So I'm going to go ahead and get some cards out on the board for both of those decks for you, and then we're going to dive into the messages that the cards wish to impart to you. But I did get some initial downloads. When you receive these messages, please know that any signs that come out in this read, including your own sign, okay, we're reading for any strong placement. So Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, or in the case of Leo, a loaded fifth house, but a loaded house for any sign that comes in as well. So drop into your intuition in receiving these reads. They are collective reads, so not every message is going to speak to you. Please be patient with me in getting used to this new setup. I'm not done with it yet, but I'm working on my laptop today. I'm going to get all kinds of stuff set up so I can give you better live feeds, better quality of video, as well as get my microphone set up, all dialed in. So I'm just kind of getting used to things. I'm reorienting things around here. I got my my ring light on the fritz, so maybe you're in a process like this a bit, Leo. Maybe some things are on the fritz. Maybe you're reorganizing your life a bit. Maybe you're realizing that there's certain things that need to go, certain things you want to bring in. You're kind of restructuring things in your life. This may be particularly pertinent in relation to work, okay? I'm getting that as something about your work needs to work more smoothly for you. There's been too many challenges at work, too many holdups at work. You're not advancing as rapidly as you'd like to see financially. You feel like there's some kind of inequity. Maybe there's some communication challenges in relation to this. Maybe you're trying to formulate how to express yourself, in the best way to get the result you're hoping for. Some of you feel like you're due for a raise or some kind of advancement. You're not seeing the growth that you were promised in your field. Some of you just don't understand why something's not taking off for you in the way you thought it would. Here's your card coming out very strong. At the forefront here, that's you, strength. I think you're really in a strong position right now. I think you're gathering your strength, Leo. I think there's some towers to face. I also think there's some towers to bring down on others, maybe some truths you need to speak. I feel like it works both ways with you, Leo. I also think that this is about taking down your walls, taking down your defenses, getting real, letting people see the real you, the good, the bad, the ugly. This card, it's interesting. It says builds towers or destroys stone walls, causes rough waters, finds witches, all right? Some of you may be going through your own version of a witch trial. In some cases, you've been labeled the bad guy in your situation. You're taking that stand, you're ready to ride it out. You're ready to ride it out. We see that lion on that horse. Maybe you're dealing with a Sagittarius. You're ready to ride it out. face it, come what may. Maybe there's also in some cases, it is the occult deck. I was drawn to it for you for a reason. Maybe there's been some kind of workings done in this situation. Could be you, could be somebody you're dealing with. Maybe these workings had something to do with trying to thwart somebody's progress, trying to keep somebody in line. I don't know why I got that. It could be some kind of binding work. It says finds witches, okay? Finds witches. So I think the witches will be found out, anybody who's been moving like that, all right? This might be a case of fuck around and find out, might be the backside of something coming back around. You thought maybe you could just sort of like ride off into the sunset. Not so. There's some cleanup work to be done. I did get some initial downloads coming in for you around, some honor is going to be taken from one and given to another. So it's almost like a trading places kind of vibe. I got this energy coming in for you. Maybe somebody who really thought that something was, dialed in for them. They thought, I'm a shoe-in, this is mine. They find it goes to another person. I could see how this could apply to that work message that came in. Maybe you thought for sure you were going to be the one that was going to get promoted. You were the one that was going to get some kind of opportunity. It goes to another person. It goes to another person. There's some kind of disillusionment about this. I also feel like you're advancing in other ways, and whatever you have to release or whatever you lose during this cycle, it's actually in your best interest. It takes you to where you're really meant to be, helps you align with who you're meant to align with. Okay, this coming in, you might be caught up at the crossroads in regard to some past actions I got, something that was sort of like in the shadows, something that was hidden. This is going to be addressed. This is going to be dealt with now. I also got a really interesting download that came in around your health. I feel like you've been dealing with some kind of health challenge, and I feel like this has affected your immunity. Maybe you have a compromised immunity, or your immune system is working overtime. When I think of the immune system working overtime, it makes me think of like a histamine reaction. This could be related to the food you're eating. You could be finding that you're having more food sensitivities. This is related to the health of your gut, your digestive biome, your balance of your inner ecology. You're more sensitive because you are dealing with some kind of autoimmune condition. This could have been from too much deterioration related to diet, too acidic of a diet that went on for too long, maybe a diet that was too high in protein, too much focus on protein. This threw off the digestive ecology. Something needs to be addressed on this level. It caused like too much acidity in the gut, too much permeability in the gut. You could have dealt with some kind of like leaky gut type of situation that caused an autoimmune response. Now you're finding it really difficult to eat all kinds of foods you didn't used to have a problem with before. Getting clued into really being aware of pesticides, that this is important, that you have some kind of autoimmune sensitivity going on right now. It could also be affecting respiratory. You could be having kind of like histamine reaction type response. I could see that too. This could be coming, Ted just shook his head yes. So this could be coming out through like rashes, eczema, conditions such as this. This could also be showing up in the respiratory system. There's something about really looking at chemical load. How many chemicals are you taking in? I think you have a sensitivity to something. Sulfates at the forefront for that. Something to look at here. Be more mindful. Be more mindful of the quality of foods you're eating. Be more mindful about purchasing organic produce where it is really, in your benefit to go organic. I forget, there's a list of like the top, fruits and vegetables that, are very, very much something you want to be mindful of purchasing organic, because they're known to be, just ridden with pesticides. So look for that. Look for that list. What are the most important fruits and vegetables that should be purchased organically? There's something about this, something about cleaning up the quality of food, maybe getting away from stuff that's a little too processed, even if it is quote unquote natural or healthy. Or I don't know if you're doing a lot of protein shakes or something along these lines. There's something about getting more roots with your food. Maybe you need more roots in your diet. You need more root veggies. You need some grounding in your diet. This coming in. When I think of root vegetables, I also think about just this sense also of needing to, how can I put this? Root vegetables always makes me think as well of, a need to sort of like get really like stabilized, get really grounded, because there's been too much like sort of emotional upheaval. Like root veggies can be very helpful. In particular, potatoes can be helpful for raising serotonin levels. So I don't know if you felt like your energy has been a little too heavy lately, if you've like lost some motivation in some areas, or if you've been dealing with some kind of emotional challenge and this has caused you to feel a little down, a little low, in your energy, in your motivation, in your mood. So something about root vegetables coming in around this, you might need to boost your serotonin. Maybe that's why it came in like that. You may need to get grounded, maybe need to create some boundary lines, some space around people who throw you into a place of emotional confusion or who make you feel imbalanced. So you can kind of get back into your own energy again. Maybe you've taken on too much energy around you. It's not your energy at all. Maybe you're kind of moving into more of a caretaking position, a little bit of a codependent position, taking on too much of somebody else's stuff. It's throwing you off. This coming in, okay? A lot about really addressing the health and how this affects what you're dealing with emotionally, and that your health is really at the forefront. And there's a need to seek out some new approach, maybe even a new treatment plan for those of you who are already set up with some kind of healthcare provider that's got you on some kind of program, or has you taking some kind of medication, or has told you you need to pursue a particular course of action. You might want a second opinion. Maybe you're finding out that treatment plan or that medication, whatever was sort of outlined for you, it's not cutting it. It's not serving your need. There's a need to maybe address things differently now. Maybe that used to work. Maybe things have changed and there's something new in the mix here in relation to your health that really needs to be dealt with. Okay. So that's your initial download that we got coming in here. Let's look at these cards that are on the board. I'm going to first look at these angel cards. We have the moon, Gabriel. God is my strength. Divine revelation reveals messages, has the power to destroy. Okay. So this makes me think of receipts coming forward. Somebody has receipts. Somebody has screenshots. Somebody has some kind of text messages. Somebody has some kind of information. This is loaded information. If it comes out, it has the power to destroy something, could destroy a relationship, could destroy an opportunity. This is possible too. All right. This is like inside information. This is hidden information. It's something that needs to come to light. I feel like something is being revealed and it's something that's been hidden up till now. Okay. It's something that's been behind the scenes or done in the dark or clandestine. And this coming out has the power to really destroy. Maybe this is what was coming in with that initial download about an honor will be taken from one and given to another. Something about this sours something for you or sours something for a person who's been working against you. You'll have to pick what side you're on. This definitely can be interchangeable with so many shadow elements in play at this time for the collective. It's going to be natural that some cross-watcher energy can come into the these reads, so do be aware of that. You're going to have to tune into your intuition. I mean, obviously, if you've been hiding something, if you got, communication out there around this hidden thing, you know that this is speaking to something you've been hiding coming out. It can affect your standing. It can affect your opportunities. I mean, I got that. And right here we have the Seven of Cups in reverse with the Star in reverse. And so I think for a lot of you, there is some kind of karmic cleanup to do here. This could be like sort of like a past action coming back around that now, you have to pay the piper, you have to deal with this. There's some cleanup work with the Seven of Cups. There's some kind of disillusionment here. There was some kind of fantasy in this situation, maybe not seeing the situation realistically, maybe not having enough mindfulness about the option you chose. Okay, usually Seven of Cups, there's a lot of options. If this is something that relates to some kind of connection or relationship that was hidden, this could be there were too many options. Somebody was sort of like playing the field, but didn't tell a person about that. I could also see this as with Seven of Cups, maybe having something going on that you wanted to keep private, but you like asked too many people for their opinion or just getting support from too many outsiders. And because of this, sort of like loose lips sink ships. These people started talking to each other, and next thing you know, you got a bunch of gossip. Now, not only is there gossip, but it's been distorted. Like the original message has been distorted because it's like the telephone game, it passed on from one person to another. They all did their own elaboration, peppered it with their own perceptions, their own judgments, their, own isms. And this has caused a big mess. Okay. This, ends up being something that blocks something that was hoped for. I really see this, and I can totally see this happening in a work situation as well. With this Seven of Cups here, it says Seven of Cups, Asalia, God the just judge. Contemplation makes the truth known in legal proceedings. Okay, so if you have been dealing with anything on a legal level, and maybe you fudged something, or you thought you could kind of get away with something, there might be record of otherwise, and that could come back to bite you. I also see this in regard to contracts. Maybe you were locked into a contract in relation to work or something, and you've actually been kind of like pursuing other options that goes against contractual agreements. There's something here that could get a little messy. You may find this in relation to somebody you're dealing with, and so it has a big impact on you. You thought you and this person were on the same board. It can make things a little dicey. Some of you may find out that somebody you were involved with was actually married, and you did not know this. You did not know this. You weren't aware that they were kind of like juggling and you're an option. You weren't aware you were an option. This person was already in. I believe in that case, it would be like they were in a marriage, because we got legal proceedings here, okay? And this might sort of dash some hopes for you. When this comes out, whatever this is, it dashes a hope. We see that because the star, came up in reverse. Star Vahasara, God the just, clemency and equilibrium, protects against attacks in the courts. So for some of you, you're dealing with something in court. You're dealing with something. I get like maybe some documents were fudged or something was omitted, or there's something that's coming back around. Somebody's got a closer eye. This could also be it's a little messy to get out of a contract. Some of you may also have to bring the courts into these proceedings in some way because there are too many different elements involved. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. Things have gotten messy. This could have something to do with the dividing up of assets, because I do have something really at the forefront where finances are in play. This coming in pretty strongly, okay? it looks like something could balance out again. It's like this piece where like something is taken from one to give it to another. That's what I got. That was like the initial message, that like an honor or a dignity is being taken from one person and given to another. And you're going to have to know what side you're on in this situation. And I do see it playing out in a multitude of ways. And with my reads, I bring in all the messages that come in. You'll know how it's speaking to you and where it applies to you. For some of you, it's all of it, man. You got it all playing out in your life. Now, what I'm really curious about here is this particular card, because this is coming up in the crossroad position. And this is basically, when we got a card coming up in a crossing position, this is related to stuff that could work for or against you. It's elements that are at play in your environment. So it means you have more than just you involved when it comes to these decisions. There's a lot of other people that are factoring into the situation, that influence the situation, and those influences can work for or against you. Now, with it coming up in the shadow, we know it's something that needs to be overcome. But not only did it come up in the shadow, it also came up in what would be a reverse position for this card to come out of the deck. It's the Hanged Man, Bifrons, teaches natural and planetary sciences, lights corpse lights above graves, and moves bodies souls so the souls may be stolen. Isn't that weird? I was like talking about trading places. Okay. There's something here. I have a feeling like this is related to something that happened in the past. Okay. It's something that happened in the past, because it did come up in this position. Okay. It came up in reverse position. Oh, okay. This is not for everybody, but this is for somebody out there. So I have to give this information. For some of you, you actually lost a loved one to some kind of foul play. It's been like the case has been cold for a long time. There hasn't been any new evidence that's come forward. Somebody lost their life in this situation to foul play. The case is hot again, like some kind of evidence comes forward. There's something that comes forward that can actually lead to a conviction. It restores dignity to this person's life that was lost. The family finally gets out of this long, hard time, with no answers, no clues, as exemplified by the star in reverse. This person thought they were going to get away from it. It doesn't. It comes back to bite them. It's like if the dead could talk. That's what I got. That's what I got. Okay, that's for somebody. For others of you, you're dealing with a situation where it was like, I'm just going to let sleeping dogs lie. We're not going to look at that. We're just going to kind of like leave that back there. Somebody does some digging. Somebody's digging around in your personal business. Somebody digs something up. Somebody gets some kind of proof. Somebody gets some kind of evidence. It comes back up. It comes back up to be dealt with. It can't be avoided. It was on hold for a while, but somebody's got proof. Somebody's got proof, and they're like, nope, this is going to be rectified. This is going to be dealt with. Okay. For you, this could be you came across some kind of proof. Maybe you realize somebody tried to pull something funny with you and you're bringing it forward now. All right. And for some of you, it's due to something that's owed to you, financially, monetarily. You're going to hold this person to it. You're not going to let them get away with it. You're not going to let them get away with it. Greed. What's the cost of greed for the 7 deadly sins? Isn't it like it exacts a pound of flesh or something? I don't know why I got like that with this imagery here. Okay. Somebody got greedy. Somebody got greedy. It comes back to bite them. I want to get out Kipper for this. Your read is a little spicy. There's some interesting elements in play. For the health piece that came in, this could also be like some kind of malpractice suit in relation to somebody's health care. Maybe somebody botched an operation, or there was something that happened back there that didn't go quite the way it should have. um, there's moving forward with that case in court. So if any of you are in legal proceedings and things have been held up, you know, things come through, a verdict comes down, okay? I have to say, for those who are in some kind of situation where, you know, they're awaiting on a verdict and it involves a loved one, you know, really, I'm getting an either or energy. It could go either way. Um, you know, we have to look at the reality in situations when we're doing collective reads. We're reading for a lot of people, okay? So when we're reading for a lot of people, um, there's going to be, you know, some of those people are moving, you know, on the right path, and some of those people have had missteps. Some of those people have faltered. Some of those people have acted out of greed. So, you know, there's good apples and bad apples in every bunch, all right? So no one's immune from this. And one of the things we're working on during this eclipse season is transforming those shadow behaviors. So, you know, you're going to know the truth. Okay. So if you did something, you know, that, you know, you didn't move right back there, it looks like, you know, you might not like the end result of this when it comes back out, you know, when it comes back around the bend. There's accountability there for whoever didn't move correctly. And if you were the one who was on the receiving end of that, just know the tables are about to turn. Okay. So it's really a pick what side you're on situation here. And that is the message, right? Yes, somebody's going to be left in despair in this situation when this change comes. 32, that's 5. Okay, so this is some disruption. This is change that doesn't come easy. What's behind that? It's something in relation to the family. Okay, we got the family room here, and I cannot make it up. Right behind this, high honor. Okay, high honor. Remember, I said that an honor would be taken from one and given to another, and this is going to be settled in court. All right. There's some kind of court proceedings in relation to this. There might be a wealthy man involved in this situation, okay? But a change is coming. A change is coming for sure. There's an ending of a cycle here. It brings about a change. This change may also lead you on some kind of journey, might lead you on some kind of trip, okay? I feel like this coming to fruition is a big change in your life. I could also see this in relation to like some kind of inheritance because the family came in there. And again, like I was also talking about in a case where maybe a loved one lost their life to foul play, you know, something's being settled in court. This has been a long journey. You've been waiting for justice. There's been a lot of suffering. There's been a lot of despair. Having this verdict come down, finally, you know, getting the answers you've been looking for. It restores honor. It restores honor to your loved one whose life was lost. You know, this gives a certain dignity now. Justice is served. It's been a long journey. You waited for this a long time. Maybe there's a wealthy man that's sort of, you know, at the center of this. Maybe this person's been kind of smug. Maybe they thought that they, you know, had this on lock. It turns everything around. For some of you, it is in relation to like an inheritance or something that involved divvying up assets. Somebody got greedy. Somebody tried to take more than their share. Okay. And this is getting rectified. I see that could be the case for a lot of you with the gift here. Okay. Something was meant to be given to you, and it's like somebody came in and they took it from you, and so you didn't receive what was meant for you in that case where it's in relation to like an inheritance. Okay, that's going to be restored. Where there was any kind of unfairness in that regard, it will be restored. And in terms of occupation, this is interesting. With occupation, we have sudden wealth here. Okay. So, and it's interesting because right behind that, we have main male and we have community. And with that, distant horizons. Okay. So, I feel like there's some major change that's about to happen. It's kind of unpredictable, okay? You don't really see this coming right now. It comes through something that actually looks disruptive and kind of negative. But through this, it sets you off on a new path. some of you might be relocating. You might be relocating to an area that's really, far from where you live now. Um, you didn't see yourself ever doing this. Some of you are considering moving to a different country. Maybe you got some kind of opportunity to head into a new direction. Maybe that's what's messy about the legal proceeding stuff is, maybe you have to take some kind of loss to get yourself out of a contract in order to pursue this opportunity. But if that's the case, I see you taking the L because it's worth it. It leads you to something that actually really increases your earning power. It leads you to financial abundance. Absolutely. If you've been waiting for any kind of settlement, like around a lawsuit, or you've been in some kind of battle regarding work comp or anything along these lines, I see that money coming through that was due you, okay? Where something's due you, you will see matters restored, okay? Or where you took from another, or where you moved unfairly, likewise, balance will be restored in the opposite. And again, we got with me saying that despair popped out here, okay? So there are some of you that are going to be dealing with, the backhand of some choices you made in the past that weren't in the best interest, of yourself, although you couldn't see it at that time, but also others involved, right? There's some kind of news that comes through here. It's interesting because I'm noticing in the background here in the window, there's a sign, it says not hiring. Okay. So maybe this is something that leads to job loss for some of you, a loss of earnings. I still get this piece though, that even though there might be a loss, a reversal, and I do feel like some of you might be having like a past action catch up with you that you have to make atonement for. It's like you have to take this L because it's sort of like that's what's required for the scales to balance. But by you doing this, you actually get another opportunity. It frees you up to move in a different direction. And I feel like the new direction leads to better success and prosperity. So it's one of these things that it's like, to you at the time when it goes down, it feels like this big loss. It feels like something that you're really sad about. You feel like it's really unfortunate. But when it does come through, it's like, no, this is actually good. I needed to be freed of that. You could be starting to come to this realization soon that it's like it's okay. Maybe you spent a lot of time worrying about this thing that had been hidden. It had stressed you out, it held you back in your life. And so, because of that, when it finally does come out, even though initially it causes like some upheaval, it causes some despair, ultimately, you realize it's for the best because it frees you. The truth sets you free. It allows you to move forward. And again, in cases where you're, squeaky clean, where you're innocent, and you're dealing with any kind of legalities or any kind of, I'm really picking up like sort of like reprimanding sort of actions. I could see this too, in a work capacity where maybe you're going through some kind of like corrective review at work or something like that. Or, if you were in the right, if you didn't move out of pocket, just know, your innocence will prevail in the situation. It'll work out in your advantage in the end. Okay. I do. For those of you where this is playing out romantically and like you're finding out that somebody that you were involved with was actually married, or in a serious relationship, and you were completely unaware of that, this is like, okay, I got to ditch this dud, but in return, it frees me up. I'm wiser now. I'm smarter now. I'll respect myself more in the future. I'm going to be more mindful of the people I choose. I'm not going to fall into the same patterns. I'm going to trust my intuition in the future. I'm not just going to blindly believe what people say. I'm going to pay attention to how they're showing up. And if my gut tells me something's not right, I'm going to believe that. And by you kind of getting this memo, getting this lesson, it allows you to like open up to a new experience. It connects you with a new person. We do see main male in the main frame, You meet a new person, somebody you can really build with, somebody you can have a future with. It changes your life. Yeah, look at this. We got Six of Pentacles. Okay. So we know that no matter what you're facing in this situation, something comes in to balance the scales, right? Even if you deal with a loss, it's a helpful loss, because if you kept going in that direction, it was just going to continue to lead you down a path where, it wasn't going to lead you to anything that was worth your time and energy. All right. So this is like actually freeing up your time and energy so you can start to move forward in such a way where you're finding that the time and energy you pour into people, places, things actually is returned to you. Like you enter into more cooperative connections, more cooperative work situations. You just find life flowing better. Life is balancing out for you with this disruptive change that comes in. It does feel like it's disruptive. I have to say it does. It's not going to be like the smoothest ride. And I do believe there is some karma you have to balance on your part that's coming through pretty strongly. A guidance for Leo collective in regard to this eclipse season, what they're going to be dealing with between now and October 14th, what's going to come to light, what's coming toward them, what guidance do you have for them, for their highest good, for their happiness, for their fulfillment, for their peace, for their healing, for their wholeness. What guidance do you have for Leo collective coming in this eclipse season, Spirit? Oh, that flipped up right there. Queen of Pentacles. This could be in relation to a Queen of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I also see that this could be you coming into a place where you're ready to rise up into that Taurus North Node, where you're starting to understand your worth, you're starting to understand your value. You know the value of your time, your energy. You're not willing to just invest it in anyone or anything right now. You're investing your time and your energy into yourself. As a result, you're starting to experience a lot of growth. You're starting to feel like you're really in your element. You're finding your balance with the Temperance card coming out here. I love that I'm using this deck for you with this message coming out, because Temperance is normally associated with the sign of Sagittarius. But when you look at this Two of Cups here, will you notice how the energy is flowing evenly between the two cups? And this one figure is holding both of these cups. So it's sort of like you're taking all that energy that you used to pour into another, you're pouring it back into yourself. It has everything to do with you understanding your worth, with her standing on this diamond here. I also feel like that diamond is speaking of the process of the pressure we get put under, the challenges that we face, so we can gain clarity, so we can gain clarity and understanding. I think you're starting to realize that you're needing to see balance in relationships in your life, that this has been missing. You're starting to find this balance the more that you've started to take that energy you used to pour into another and you're pouring it into yourself. You're feeling stronger, you're feeling better, your self-esteem has risen. I also feel in matters of business, you're not getting paid what you deserve. You're not seeing the reward you should for as hard as you're working and for the ideas that you bring to the table. I feel like you are going to renegotiate this. And for some of you, you're straight up choosing not to work for others anymore. You're choosing a more independent route. You've decided, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to be an independent contractor where I can set my own rates. I don't have to fall in line with somebody else's ideas. I can conduct my business the way I want to. I think this will be very good for you. I think you'll finally feel like what you're pouring into your work, you're getting back. This is the truth with the Ace of Swords, okay? I feel like a lot of you are taking this action. This may have been something you started to consider first back during the winter time, at the tail end of 2022 and the opening of this year. This also may involve you severing a contract. You might have to get some kind of legal counsel in regard to that, even if it doesn't go to court. You might want to be careful about how you extricate yourself from a work situation where there is a contractual agreement. I got that. For some of you, you're, in the process of, renegotiating something in terms of a relationship. Those of you who are married or maybe live with somebody, and so legally you have a lot of stuff combined. Maybe you're both on the rental agreement for your house or something like that. I feel like there's something that needs to be negotiated here. There's something that needs to be balanced out. Some of you might have to take some kind of legal action or get some kind of legal counsel in regard to this. Some of you might have been worried about how to come up with the finances to get that legal counsel. Usually you can get pretty affordable guidance, at least an opening consult, for free. You can also find that paralegals are very helpful. You also might want to look into like law schools, talking to students at law school, seeing if there's affordable ways that you can get some kind of legal counsel. There's something you might want to look into here. I feel like it has something to do with the written word. I feel like it has something to do with contracts, okay? Either breaking a contract, that could be a marital contract, a living contract, such as an apartment, a house you rent with another you were in relationship with, you're splitting up or something. And so now you got to hammer that out. Who gets to take over the contract? Um, I do feel like it's some kind of severing of a contract and a renegotiation of a contract for those of you who are, continuing on with a particular position, a particular job, but maybe you're wanting to renegotiate things. You feel like it needs to be more balanced. It needs to be more equitable. You need to get like some kind of larger return for your investment. I'm getting that. I feel like you're speaking some truth about this and you want it on paper, okay? Whoo, yeah, you're taking charge with the emperor here, all right? So I really see this as you're stepping up. You're stepping up. You might be speaking a truth to a boss or a higher up. I really got that. You feel like you're due more than what you got. You're due more than what you got, and you want this to be a more equitable situation. Hmm. Tell me about this emperor, because I'm getting a little other piece coming in with this. Who is this emperor? What is this emperor about? Give me more information about this emperor that's coming up for Leo. Some of you were dealing with an Aries or a Taurus. The emperor card can represent both of those signs, okay? I also see maybe this is when in matters of business and having this conversation and making this transition into a new contract might come up for you around that changing of the nodes of destiny, because uh, currently Taurus is the north node, but in July it switches into Aries. So that could be a little timing for you coming in, whatever you sort of like set in motion, we're thinking of back during the winter time, the close of last year and the opening of this year. It comes to a head. It comes together. It gets balanced out in your season. Gets balanced out in July, August. Yeah, I feel with this emperor, this is somebody that you felt betrayed you, okay, with the Five of Swords. And this can play out either way. Honestly, I'm seeing a lot of this is in relation to like finances, security, money, legalities. A lot of this stuff is coming up in your read. I haven't really seen like a lot of love reference. Yeah, this is definitely about your security, with the bottom of the deck being the Four of Swords here. Right after that, we have the Queen of Cups, okay? Water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I just got that some of you do healing work. Some of you are doing work in the healing arts. Maybe this has been your bread and butter. This has been the way you've earned your living for a long time. You're switching it up. You're heading into a different direction with this. Maybe you worked for somebody before, you worked for a spa, or you worked under somebody, under the umbrella of a business, and now you're kind of like, you know what? If I just broke out on my own, did my own work, I would be so much more successful. If I just started my own business, I feel like a lot of you are making this transition. You don't want to work for somebody anymore. I think you're wanting out of a contract. You were partnering with somebody or working for a particular business. It's not working for you. You realize you could do much better if you invested in your own thing. I'm seeing this with the Queen of Cups. It makes me think of either you're in some kind of healing profession. Some of you may have even considered going to school to get maybe a more conventional type of job in the health field. Like, for instance, maybe initially you were more of like in the holistic health field. Maybe you were a body worker, you did massage or um, you did some kind of work along these lines. Now you're looking to go more a traditional route. You're thinking about going to nursing school, getting involved in more of like a traditional health career path because you feel like it could be more successful for you, but you're kind of like you're locked in a contract or something where you're currently at. And so there's a little bit to sort through, but you just feel like it ripped you off. Like working for somebody else ripped you off. There is some kind of independence being established here. And some of you work in more of a metaphysical career direction, or you're wanting to head into that direction. You're wanting to head into a more spiritual line of work. I don't know. Maybe you're wanting to be a reader. Maybe you're wanting to open up some kind of like metaphysical shop or, something along these lines. You're wanting to do something different than what you have done before. It's interesting because I kind of pick it up on both levels. Like there's some of you that have been in more of like kind of a sort of what would, the general public may consider sort of like a woo-woo kind of path. Like you were more on the alternative cutting edge side, and now you're deciding, no, I want something with more structure. I want something that can give me more legitimacy, and so you're choosing to go more a traditional route. All right, then there's others of you that are totally like rebelling against this sort of traditional role you're in, working for a corporation or working for an established business. You're wanting to break out on your own. You're wanting to go in a totally different direction, maybe a more creative direction, more artistic direction, more cutting edge direction. Or if you've been in the healthcare field, now you're wanting to go more holistic health. Okay. I see it both ways. I do feel it's coming out both ways. Whatever you were doing before, the wheels turning. Okay, you feel a calling in a new direction, and I do feel like you're moving out of one position and into another. And for some of you, this is being sparked by the current position you're in. An honor that you thought was going to be yours is going to somebody else, and it's sort of like that straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, okay, I'm tired of negotiating this. This is the last time I get passed by. I gotta move forward on my own behalf. It takes some strength for you to do this. It takes some courage for you to do this. You're coming up really strong in your read, okay? Because here's your card coming through once again. Strength card here. You've grown. You understand your worth. You understand your value. You're not going to stay stuck. You're ready to go beyond this. This may require you to sort of like face certain fears you have or certain insecurities you have. Maybe you're used to playing small. Maybe you don't want to come off like too big for your britches. Maybe it's a totally new thing for you to do to step into this arena. You're nervous about taking this step. Maybe you have imposter syndrome. There's something here. I feel like almost in a way where you feel like your pride is kind of on the line a little bit. But if you can find the strength to overcome your false sense of limitations and you go for it, look at this. Boom, it leads you to the beginning you're looking for with this Ace of Pentacles. I mean, it looks so good for you. You got to go for this. I feel like you got a little bit of like a disruptive change to step into this new direction, but ultimately it's for your benefit, and it has everything to do with you kind of conquering some long held deep seated issues, I believe, that go way back for you. their foundation in your past. A lot of it has to do just with you feeling secure in yourself, you feeling like you have something worthwhile to offer, you really understanding the value of what you bring to the table, and being brave enough to sort of like take a stand for that and say, hey, I'm going to walk. You're not appreciating what I'm bringing to the table. I'll take my precious energy elsewhere where it will be appreciated. Okay, cut of the deck energy on this. Queen of Swords. Okay, yeah, there's definitely something you're cutting off. Look at this. So many of you are totally cutting off some kind of work direction, uh, in some cases, like I was saying, some established relationship with the Queen of Swords here. Queen of Swords is also air sign energy, Libra at the forefront, quintessential Queen of Swords card. But this could also be Gemini, Aquarius, all right? Any significant placement in the chart. It is really, notice how she's looking over her shoulder. Okay, there's something that needs to be dealt with back there. Queen of Swords has that sword up, all right? She knows the truth. She's going to speak that truth. She'll cut off what isn't like the truth, okay? And we see here, whatever is cut off, look at this, okay? Big Libra energy. You might have Libra strongly aspected in your chart. Look at this. The Empress with the 9 of Pentacles coming in here. This is success. And we got Empress to Emperor here, all right? And it's interesting because those nodes of destiny, when they shift, Libra is taking over the south node when Aries takes over the north node. And I do believe this is also speaking of timing for this situation. You're cutting something off and it's going to lead you to independent success. You're finally going to feel like, okay, I've arrived. I'm in my element. I'm prosperous. I've built something for myself. I feel like my self-esteem's intact. This is you really glowing up and coming into a very strong place individually. It's a very independent energy. And right after that, look what we got. There you are, Queen of Wands, in your element, in your energy. For a lot of you, if you've been in a relationship, you are about to step into very independent energy, and you're actually really going to be vibing off of it because you're very focused on what you can build for yourself. You're wondering, will there be growth in this direction if I take this risk, if I just go my own way, if I believe in myself and what I want to create for myself, if I cut off this relationship, if I get out of this old job, is it really going to work out for me? Yes, please go in this direction. Look, it brings your ships in. This is the direction you're meant to go in. So where you've been considering branching out independently, you got a big fat yes on that from the universe. It will bring you big success, and you're going to feel like you got your dignity back. Maybe that's the case. Maybe an honor that you thought should have been yours goes to another, but in the process, it sort of ends up working in your favor, and that it restores your dignity because it allows you to step into your own independent power and go your own way. There's something about, even in a situation where there's a reversal, in the end, it really does work out best for you. And you might not see that right away. It might take a little time before you clearly get that view. You might see the truth of that this winter, okay? Because like I said, this energy with the eclipses, it's in play through October 14th. So it might be once you head into winter season of this year, you really are reflecting back and going, wow, I'm so glad that happened. I'm so glad that tower fell, because even though it was really rough to go through that, it led me to all of this. It has that feel. There's some kind of new beginning that comes through for you. It moves you into independent strength. It gives you big glow up energy. I see you being very successful. And it looks like it's really going on for you in the area of your stability and your self-esteem. This is also being very healthy. Okay, so with that initial download that I brought in, I feel like whatever new treatment you pursue, whatever new approach you're taking in regard to your health, there's something you need to switch up there. But once you do, it absolutely leads you to this place of really just feeling so much better. You're really going to see a turnaround in your health and improvement. I feel like your strength is really going to increase. Maybe you've been feeling a little like weak, a little muscular weakness lately, like your muscles get fatigued really quickly. I don't know where that's coming from. Something turns around. Maybe through your own healing process, you stumble across something that you realize, oh my gosh, this would be so beneficial for so many other people. It gives you some idea that sparks a new like business idea for you. You go for it, man, this thing takes off. But either way, here, I see your overarching theme is zombie control. Okay. I think that something you tried to control, something you tried to kept hidden and buried, I think it's coming back to life. I think it needs to resurface. I think this is so necessary for this to come up and out. You don't realize how much energy you put into trying to keep this hidden, trying to keep this concealed. You'll realize how much it was controlling you. Maybe somebody's held some inside information over your head. Like maybe they've kept you under their control by saying, hey, if you don't, go about things this way, I'm going to tell everybody, what happened back there. I think this is like, go ahead, let it come up and out. Let the skeletons tumble out of the closet. It looks like it allows you to be freed from this sense of control. And I don't know why, but I got the Janet Jackson song Control came into my head just now. So I feel like that's what you're stepping into. It's all about that song. You're in control now. You got your own life. You're going to make your own decisions. All right. So, pretty potent read, man. Pretty potent read. Go for it. It's about you taking control of your life. Stop living for the past and stop living under other people's thumbs. It's about you taking charge. You'll like where things lead. New setup.